All right, it's official. Ten Hag has won his first trophy for Manchester United, the Carabao Cup, and thought I would obviously have to do this video just to sum up my feelings and thoughts about the club where we are currently at the time of recording. It's February 27th, the day after, and I don't want to do a 50-minute monologue about how brilliant Ten Hag is because that all could come crashing down. However, I will give some thoughts and opinions on Ten Hag and the game. So, this is obviously what somebody would call tin pot trophy, right? It's not a major trophy. It's one of the major things you can win. It's not to be taken lightly. If you win it, it's a good thing. But it doesn't make a successful season on its own. For example, if we were to crash out of the Champions League spots, end up in whatever seventh, and have a complete nightmare to the end of the season, but win a trophy, people would say that's not a success, that's poor, etc. For me, as a fan, what I like to win is trophies. Those are the things I remember. For 6 years, Man United haven't won a trophy. I've been discussing in Discord, I've been doing videos, I've been chatting, thousands upon thousands probably of hours watching Manchester United not missed a game, waking up in the morning to watch some bloody, pre-season friendly or something in China, stuff like this, all for nothing. Well, finally, it seems like I've actually got a manager at Manchester United that knows what he's doing. He has turned the club around with him and his staff and his whole vibe and everything that's going on. And it's just completely a breath of fresh air. It's very, very surprising how quickly he's turned it around with how little funds and backing he's actually had. Now, people will go on and they'll say, what are you on about? He's bought loads of players. He got Casemiro, etc. He got Anthony. Yes, you have to buy players in football. It is just a thing. You can't win the league or win tournaments every single year with the same group of players. But he has, let's just say, not always had his first choice. Let's be honest, Weghorst isn't going to be his first choice. Probably Sabitzer wouldn't be his first choice midfield. He wanted Frankie de Jong. He ended up with Eriksen. There's things all around the pitch that I'm sure he would like, but he's not been quite given them. He hasn't had Chelsea money or anything like that. And yet, what he's done for me and what is the most impressive is he's improved the players at Man United. So I can talk and wax lyrical about how he took the final seriously, how he took the run up to the final and all of the pre-games seriously, and we got through them and all of these challenges. But the big thing for me is people can win finals that aren't great managers. People can go on runs that aren't great managers in the long term. But you have to be a really good manager to consistently do substitutions and tactics to change and alter games. And for me, that's been like the most enjoyable thing. It sounds really obvious on paper, but after 9 minutes, Dalot got booked at right back, and the team were then smart enough to help and cover him. In the past, that wouldn't have happened, I'm telling you. So the team was smart enough to help and cover him, and then they were picking up cards one by one for covering Dalot. Then immediately at halftime, he subbed him and got on Wan-Bissaka, and that was a great change. Sounds obvious, but trust me, not a lot of managers would do that, and many managers would just wait an extra 10, 15 minutes. He didn't. He then got when Newcastle had a bit of a play and they had a bit of a time on the ball and a few pokes and prods, he then shored up the midfield, adding in Sabitzer and McTominay. And then I noticed the commentators were saying, "Oh, Newcastle have gone off the boil a little bit here. Newcastle aren't quite as potent. They need to step it back up." But actually, Ten Hag subs completely nullified what Newcastle were doing. St. Max was shut down. the little breaks in midfield, Sabitzer was then breaking up. Aaron Wan-Bissaka was charging up, winning the ball up high. He had a fantastic game. Every single person to a man had a fantastic game that day. De Gea swept, he caught, he punched. He deserved that trophy. The defence was class. Luke Shaw, solid as ever with a brilliant delivery. Marcus Rashford had a relatively quiet day, but that's sort of expected. He's known as our main man, and he was against Trippier, and obviously they're going to try their best to shut him down, yet other people came in. Weghorst linked the play well and got an assist. Rashford did, I think, in the end manage to get himself on the score sheet. I believe that goal has now been given to him, and probably rightly so. It's a bit harsh to give a blooming own goal for, let's be honest, if that defender wasn't there, Rashford would have shot and scored. And if the defender was there, well, he has to block it. And yeah, it probably is Rashford's goal. Anthony played really, really well defensively, and he was a threat as well going forwards. And I just think every single player played brilliantly. Obviously, Casemiro played brilliantly. And we can talk again about just all of the things that have led up to this point in the season, the way he managed the Ronaldo situation, which just gave the whole club and squad respect for him. The way he dealt with Jadon Sancho, he said, look, you're not ready for the squad, you're going away. The way he dealt with Marcus Rashford and brought him back into form. All these players, the way he handled phasing out of Harry Maguire, like it's been nothing. Like there hasn't been any uproar at all. It's just like, yeah, he's not playing. Like, he can play, but he's not at the moment. The way he handled it all transitionally has been brilliant. He's not had an easy start to management at all. Barely any money, no real backing from the club. In fact, the club are trying to sell the club. Whether they end up selling it now or keeping it, I don't know. That's for a whole other topic. But he's had so many situations to deal with that he's dealt through, and we're still in 4 competitions. We're not going to win 4 competitions. We're not going to win the league. We're probably not going to win another cup. We're probably going to get top 4 and this trophy, and that for me is a success. You might say, oh, Man United fan, League Cup and top 4 is success. How the mighty have fallen. Yeah, Manchester United aren't the team that win back-to-back titles. We're trying to get there. We're trying to get there for a title. Sorry, I've just been in the shower. My hair is doing me head in. And we're trying to get back there, but you have to actually build on something solid. You might have a random trophy along the way under, say, Jose and stuff, and Jose technically has still been our most successful manager, but it never felt like anything was getting built. It felt like he was building teams for those tournaments, and then that was it. It was kind of like, right, you're done with now. Now I'm stuck with Ibra, Matic, and all these players that I don't really like. I've got the trophy, but now what? Ten Hag feels like he's actually building something sustainable. The most enjoyable thing for me as a Man United fan, like I've seen Man United win everything, right? So it's a little bit different as compared to, say, another fan looking at their team. I realise I'm privileged in that position. We were coming up against a team that were, for the longest time, absolutely flying and rock solid in top 4. And in Eddie Howe's word, they took their eye off the Prem entirely to focus on this game, pretty much. And that's a bad thing. However, they don't like us. We know that. We have a history with Newcastle. They're desperate to win a trophy. They haven't won one. What was it? 60, 65 years. And we comfortably dispatched of them. Regardless of what the possession figures say, I think we defended really well and just countered and scored and played when we needed to. And for a large period of time, they had that extra possession because we were 2-0 up. And it wouldn't make sense to go gung-ho in a final. When it comes to the little things, this is what I like about Ten Hag. It sounds, again, obvious. A lot of the stuff Ten Hag does sounds obvious, but that's what makes him a good manager. It is, a lot of the time, fairly obvious, but you've got to have the balls to do it. What he did after the match, and before, I guess, he spoke to Sir Alex. Many people might not like that watching over them. He spoke to Sir Alex. He then won the cup and invited Sir Alex back into the dressing room to experience that. He didn't have to. That's a great thing for him to share his first trophy experience with Sir Alex, who has been, let's be honest, starved of success for 6 years, having to watch in the crowds as well as the fans. He then got all of the players, obviously, they were celebrating and everything. They did all of their things. He had a dance with the players like Martinez and Anthony because they've got a history of doing it together. You know, little things like that, those players will remember. And then he got all of the coaching staff and all of the staff to gather around the Carabao Cup sign and have them all have pictures with the cup, because he was basically saying, yeah, I've won the cup and they've won the cup, but without you, it's completely pointless. So get a picture with it because you have also won that. Many of those staff members will treasure that picture. They'll be showing it to their friends and family tomorrow. They'll be saying, hey, I got on the pitch and I had a picture with the trophy. And maybe some of them have been there 10 plus years and they won't have had a chance to do that. So it's the little things Ten Hag is doing that's making the club really like him and the fans really like him. This as football is, it could all come crashing down and it could all be terrible. But what he feels like is he just feels like a solid manager. He doesn't feel like he's going to go on a wobbler and suddenly throw someone under the bus and throw 10 games and be grumpy and just give up tournaments. He just seems like he's solid. He really likes Man United and he wants to help us get back. And I'm sure the staff and everybody are backing him. And I just think it's been a great first season. So obviously really happy with the performance of the actual game. It feels like we haven't really spoke about the game itself, but really happy with the performance of the game, yeah. But most of the things that led up to this victory, I think, were behind the scenes, and it's credit where credit's due. He did really well, and yeah, I fully enjoyed it. As a Man United fan, if you're a Man United fan watching this, you know it's been like shit, and I'm sure you enjoyed that day, and I hope you did enjoy that day. All right, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, give it a comment, consider subscribing. Peace out.